This. This is a remarkable place. A place steeped in history, where trails have been blazed, discoveries have been made, and lives have been changed forever. This is a place that holds questions and answers, problems and solutions. It's a place to tap into your creativity, curiosity, and ambition. This is a place to pursue what makes you, you. Here you'll be challenged and cheered, and you'll join a tradition of changemakers. This is a place you'll miss when you leave. Look around and picture yourself here, at this unique time, in this remarkable place. You'll be amazed at what you find. Welcome to UNC Greensboro. Find your way here.
Hey there, everyone, and welcome to our town hall. My name is Tatiana McEnany, and I'm currently the Interim Associate Director for first-year recruitment in the Undergraduate Admissions Office here at UNC Greensboro. And we are so excited to be able to talk to you all tonight about opportunities for the high achieving. So what you'll get to hear about tonight are about our 3 residential colleges, our STAMPS program, and our Lloyd International Honors College. And here with me tonight are 3 staff and faculty members, 2 current students, and they are experts when it comes to these opportunities. Before I hand it over to them, I do want to remind you that we'll be answering questions at the very end of the presentation. All you have to do is text your question to the number that you see at the bottom of your screen, and we'll make sure to answer it throughout the presentation or at the very end. So without further ado, we can go ahead and start introductions, and I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Muich.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Rebecca Muich. I'm one of the 2 assistant deans in Lloyd International Honors College, and I'm so happy to be here this evening with you all. I also want to give my student ambassador, Abigail Knight, a chance to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her.
Hi, I'm Abigail Knight, and I am currently a senior in the nursing program. I am one of the Reynolds Scholars with Lloyd International Honors College, and I'm currently pursuing full honors. I've had a really great experience here. I've had a lot of opportunities to do with research. So if you guys have questions about that as an honors student, please ask those questions. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Now I'm going to pass it over to Professor Patton. And you are on mute, Professor Patton.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here as well. I represent the Science, Technology, and Math Preparation Scholarship Program from the National Science Foundation. My home is in the Geography, Environment, and Sustainability Department, and my personal research deals with what's known as geographic information science, particularly remote sensing, where I use satellites to evaluate the environment here on Earth. So I'm looking forward to talking about the STAMPS program. It truly is a wonderful opportunity for students.
Thanks, Professor Patton. I'll pass it over to Dr. Littlejohn.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Littlejohn. I'm the director of Ashby Residential College and Strong Residential College, and I'm here to tell students about, or prospective students, about what the residential colleges are and how they work, and kind of answer questions about it. Asia, do you want to introduce yourself? She's one of our former students. Well, and Trey is one of our former students too.
Hello, everyone. My name is Asia Spro. I'm currently a junior, and I major in middle grades education with a concentration in language arts. If you have any questions about Strong, you can ask me.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for introducing yourselves. So like I said, mentioned before, if you all have any questions as the presentation continues, please make sure you send a text message to us so we can answer those questions. So let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. And we are going to kick it off with Dr. Muich and residential colleges.
I think we got cross-pollinated there a little bit, but do you got slides up for the residential colleges? Do you want me to go ahead?
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yes, Dr. Littlejohn, I'm sorry about that. We're going to start with residential colleges.
That sounds great. I'm happy to talk about what we do. I'm not sure what the next slide says, but I'll tell you in brief anyway, because I talk about the residential colleges a lot because I love them. They are the best way to describe what we do is we are a small liberal arts college that's contained within the larger university. So we have a faculty, we have events, we have everybody living in the dorm, we have students that get to know each other and take classes together. So it's like a very small experience, small college experience, but you have all of the benefits of the larger university. So you have, if you want to go to a small college, but you maybe want to stay in state and you want to have the experience of a big library or athletics or lots of course selections, that kind of thing, or lots and lots of majors and programs, you can do that by being in a residential college. So one of the things that people ask the most about is what kind of classes we have here. The classes, that is to say, are there extra classes? Do students have to take more classes if they're part of a residential college? Absolutely not. The courses that we offer meet general education requirements. So they sort of do two things. They are part of our curriculum and they will help you through your program. So they'll help you with your gen ed requirements. And they will also, I think, one of the other greatest things about it is that they're small. So we can have a class of psychology, and if you don't want to be one of 120 students, sometimes that's great for people. If you'd rather have a class of one of 25, then we're a great fit for you. Some of the benefits of small classes are you get to know your professors better. So you learn to develop relationships with them, and that gives you opportunities as you go through school. I don't know how many recommendations I've written for graduate school and scholarship programs to help students go on with their future academic lives. So if you want to be able to nurture those relationships, it's an excellent opportunity to do so because we get to know you well. It's very easy to write those letters, frankly, because everybody does so well because you get to know them and you support them. We're here for you. We have in-house academic advising. So instead of being, like I said, lots and lots of people advising in a similar way, we can sit down with you. Your advisor will know you and say, oh, Asia, I know you're studying middle grades education. What the class you need is, and Asia will be like, yeah, you're right. I do need that class, right? And so we will help you navigate the sort of ups and downs of what could be sometimes a complex process about how to choose classes, which classes I need when, how to get through my program and my degree in an efficient way, so nobody wants to waste time or money. So that is a huge advantage of the residential colleges. So that's a good point to think about. The other thing I like about it is that we have innovative classes. We offer classes, we have the flexibility because we develop our own curriculum. Again, they always meet the requirements of the university, but we can make them a little bit more interesting. We have a little bit more freedom and creativity to let our professors develop ideas. So for example, this semester we're teaching classes in zombies because everybody wants to know more about zombies, right? Which actually, of course, corresponds to lots of other elements of our culture and our world in important ways. We are teaching courses about, well, next semester we're offering a course about Greensboro cities, which I think the honors class has done at one point too. We have courses on Hollywood and history. We have courses on the Supreme Court. We have a creative writing course, a poetry course. So we get to do some fun things with the kinds of requirements that students have to do anyway. That's broadly speaking, kind of the overview. A couple quick advantages. I don't want to go too long. I tend to talk quick and short rather than long, but one of the great advantages of taking classes together with your students and students that you live with is that you have a built-in support network. So when you are out in the university, you might not know as many people in your classes. You might meet the person right next to you. But in the residential college, you'll likely know everybody in your class. If not just a little bit, you'll know them well. So the advantage is that you get a chance to think about ideas, talk about ideas, engage with course material. And then when you have questions and you go home at night and you go, oh my gosh, I don't understand that assignment, you can of course always offer, email your professor, contact your professor, and we'll get back to you because we know you, right? But the greatest thing is that you can go next door and say, hey, Bob, did you understand that assignment? Because I'm really confused. Or, hey, I got the book here, but I didn't, can you help me understand this chapter because this part doesn't make sense to me? So there's a huge advantage to being with your peers in your classes and in your living situation at the same time. So you have built-in support network that way. It also helps you learn about different cultures and ideas, and that you're exposed to people that are different from you, which is a good experience too. So you get a very sort of deep dive, if you will, into what it means to think about new ideas in a context that's very safe to explore them. So that's sort of the gist of it. I don't know if I've covered all the things on the slides necessarily, but I would say that that's about where we are. What do you think about that, Tatiana?
Yeah, I think that's great. And then I think your next slide talks about the different colleges that you offer.
If that's a little bit more specific, but I'm happy to go into that. We do have what we call kind of a curricular focus. So Ashby is contemporary media literacies and social justice. Strong is sustainability and fieldwork and hands-on research. Grogan is professionalism and project and problem-based learning. That is to say, just to be clear, it's not as though the classes are those are the classes. We don't offer classes in that necessarily. I don't want to mislead. So we don't offer classes in sustainability and strong, but we offer, what we do is connect the classes that you do take with ideas that are relevant to sustainability. And the same thing with contemporary media literacies or professionalism. So you won't see, here's how to be a professional, or here's how to engage with media. Instead, it's here's history, and how do we have to think about history given what we know about media, for example, or sustainability, for example, right? So this is a way to kind of orient our thinking for some of our courses and for some of our co-curricular work too. So we have events and social events in the dorms residence halls that are sort of also thoughtful in that way to address some of the areas that we're interested in as colleges. So that's how those particular areas work. But again, they all meet the gen ed requirements. So let's see. I think this is good to know. This is just this is application steps. If you are interested in going further, it's all through Spartan Link. So you can just go through, there's a tiny little question in there that says, are you interested in a residential college, on your demographic page? And if you say yes, the residential college application will open up and you answer some questions. You don't have to fill out all the information again. All your Spartan Link information will populate automatically. And there's a few additional questions that will ask you about what you're interested in, which college you have a preference for, and two very short essays that'll help us get to know you better, see where you fit better, because it's all about fit. Any major can go to any college. There's not any requirement for majors. We don't sort by majors. We have art majors, we have business majors, we have science majors, all across the colleges in all three dorms. So all three programs house whoever wants to be in which dorm. So that is to say, again, it's really about fit. And I encourage students to look at the websites and talk to students and sort of imagine where they see themselves fitting in best. And that's the best place for them to go. They don't have to worry about, I'm not a business major, so I can't be in Grogan. Absolutely not. You can be a music student and be in Grogan. So don't let that stop you as you think about where you might fit in terms of the RCs. Did I get it all?
Yes, you did. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Littlejohn. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
Just a final reminder, if you have any questions in regards to the residential colleges, please go ahead and send a text to us and we can make sure to answer those questions at the very end. And next, I'm going to pass it over to Professor Patton.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about the STAMPS program, which is fundamentally a scholarship program for students who are interested in the sciences. We combine a scholarship, we give you money, with a lot of support activities. This is our 12th year of the STAMPS program, and it's been funded very generously from the National Science Foundation. And these are the people who basically have put the program together. Dr. Shug is the head of biology. Dr. Peterson is professor in biochemistry and chemistry. Eileen Reed is in education. Dr. Phillips is director of the Office of Undergraduate Research and Scholarship, and you'll see why that's really important in our program. And I'm in geography, environment, and sustainability, and the person who keeps us all working together is Dr. Lynn Sametz, who's sort of the administrator of the program, and it takes a lot of administration. Okay. The goal of the STAMPS program is pretty simple. We're designed to provide support to academically talented students who have some sort of financial need. So if you're interested in the program, you have to complete a FAFSA. This is for students in specific STEM disciplines. We wish we could do it a little broader, but they're defined by the National Science Foundation, and it's their money. So if you're in biology or chemistry, biochemistry, computer science, geography, environment and sustainability, mathematics, physics, and astronomy, if you're interested in any of those disciplines, then you can be considered. The next slide. Okay. So how do we support you? Well, we give you a scholarship of it's $4,600, up to $4,600 per year for the remainder of the grant, which at this point is at least 3 years and maybe more, but you would have at least 3 years of support. And then we have funding to support you if you're interested in undergraduate research opportunities. And I'll talk about those in a minute. Next one. But we give you a lot of support. Support's really the main theme of the STAMPS program. And one way we do this is we have juniors and seniors in the STAMPS program. We pair them off with incoming freshmen, typically in similar majors. So these are our peer mentors, some of the peer mentors now, and they'll be paired off with incoming freshmen. We've discovered that a peer mentor is kind of helpful. They also have a faculty mentor, so we pair you off with a faculty member in your chosen department as well. They serve slightly different roles. A faculty mentor can help you perhaps professionally a little more, get you into graduate school, or maybe connections with businesses or internships, and talk about opportunities in the field. Sometimes a peer mentor can tell you important things like, don't take this professor, take this one, those kind of things. Or where's the best pizza in town? But both of them together we found is a very powerful support mechanism. So go to the next one. So we're really interested in building a sense of community among the STAMP students. And we have certain objectives we want. If you're interested in scientists as a career, we want you to learn a lot of things about what it means to be a scientist, how to communicate science. In this day and age, what's ethical in science? What should we say about our research when it's preliminary or towards the end, and evaluating statements. It's becoming all too clear that science isn't universally accepted by everyone. So we talk a lot about what it means to have a career in the sciences. And to do this, one of the things we do is we have you participate in a first year class. Now, as an incoming freshman, you would participate in one of the FYE classes, first year experiences. And what we do is we have a specific first year experience class for STAMP students. So it works out quite well that way. Okay, next one. We also support undergraduate research experiences. Typically not your first year, but after your first year, you might want to work in a research lab with one of the biology professors or chemistry professors, or you might want to have an undergraduate research experience at another university. We've had students work at Cornell and at MIT. We also had students work at government facilities during the summer, and we'll pay you to do this, or at least help with your payment. And we found that if you get involved with undergraduate research, you're much more likely to persist in one of the sciences. I'll tell you a short aside. One of our undergraduate research students, she was working at the Goddard Space Center outside of Washington, DC, a NASA facility. And she called me one night and she said, "Hi, I have breakfast every morning in the commissary, and there's a really nice guy I often eat with. who said he'd be willing to come down and talk to the stamps students because I've been telling him all about stamps. He's a scientist here. And I said, well, you know, what's his area? And she goes, I'm not quite sure. And I said, well, what's his name? She goes, John Mather. And I paused and I said, April, we're always interested in having a Nobel laureate scientist come to campus. So she brought him down and he stayed 2 days and talked with our students. You may know his research is on dark matter, and that's what he received the Nobel Prize for. But we have a lot of these speakers come in and they don't just talk about their research, they also talk to our students in the STAMPS program. How did they become a scientist? What was their career path and why, you know, what hurdles did they have to overcome? And it's often quite fascinating. Okay, next one. We also try to involve the STAMP students in various experiences. If you come to our campus, there are 2 wetlands now on campus, and the STAMP students helped create those wetlands, and they're now research facilities on campus. 2 little, one's a forest wetlands and one's a prairie wetlands. During non-COVID years, we participate in the Science Everywhere program that brings thousands of students in, or not students, but people from the general community to campus to learn about science. We also take a lot of day trips to the Duke Leamer Center, the Joint School for Nanoscience, the 3 College Observatory, or up to Stone Mountain with the geologists. All of these are designed to help build that sense of community. Next one. We also take one extended field trip each year for 2 or 3 days. One year we went to this wild cave in eastern Tennessee, and we walked for about 1.5 miles underground. This is not a publicly open cave. It was fascinating. And then we went to the one of the premier fossil sites in the United States, the Gray Fossil Site outside of the cave area. Next one. The Goddard Space Center has been a place we've gone many times, and several of our students have ended up getting internships there. That's been nice. We used to go to NIST, National Institute for Standards and Technology, which was absolutely fascinating, where they test everything from robots to fire protection materials. They're, unfortunately, during the COVID years, they're not open. And then finally, the last one, the next one. We're hoping to go back this spring to Baltimore and Washington, DC, and we're going to go to IMET, which is a aquaculture facility from the University of Maryland, where they have acres of fish tanks beneath downtown Baltimore. It's really a fascinating place. And then we always also visit the Smithsonian area. These long 3-day, 4-day trips really do help build a sense of community. So they've been very important in the program. Normally do that every year. The program itself has been very successful. If you look at this graph, about the dark blue shows students who come in to one of the sciences. About 3/4 of them actually graduate in that science in 4 years. Another 10 to 15% come in and they graduate, but maybe not in the science they originally came in. They might have come in biology, but they end up in kinesiology. So now we're up to about 85% of the students. And then we have another 5% who decide after a while that they really aren't interested in the sciences, but they still graduate. So about 90% of our students have graduated. To give you some idea, that's the national average in the sciences is about 40%. So the support does seem to work, is my point. And there is a lot of support. I'll say most of the support comes from one another. The STAMPS community, they get to know each other very well and they help each other. Knowing people on campus is a huge advantage because we've discovered it's not just that you know where things are and those kind of things, but you feel like this is the place you want to be. And that really helps you stay focused on your studies and beyond. We find that a majority of our STAMP students go on for graduate school or medical school, pharmacy school, and that the rest go into professional positions. So we're very proud of the STAMPS program. It's been very successful. So if anybody's interested and when you fill in an application and you say you're going to be in one of those 6 majors, you automatically get an application form. It's 1 page. So please, if you're interested or if you have questions, please contact me. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Professor Patton. If you all have any questions about that application or admissions process, please feel free to send those questions through text and we can get those answered for you. All right, next up is Dr. Muich, and you'll be talking about Lloyd International Honors College, so I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. I just wanted to make one quick note for everyone watching. As you're listening to us talk, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, residential colleges sound amazing. The STAMPS program also sounds amazing. And I definitely want to also apply to the Honors College. And I want to encourage you to think about this as something that you can do. You can do all of these things, right? You don't have to be one or the other. So as you're learning about these opportunities, I hope you're excited by all of them because you can take advantage of all of them. You can definitely have multiple experiences here. So ask us those questions. We have our students here who are eager to talk to you about their experiences, and they have a lot of wonderful things to share. So to share a little bit about the Honors College, we have 2 programs for highly motivated undergraduates. One is called International Honors, and that is a program for incoming freshmen, as well as a few transfer and current students who are looking for a general education meeting curriculum that also includes an international component. Our disciplinary honors program is for current UNCG students who are looking to deepen their knowledge in their major or their field. So sometimes we talk about this as like honors in your major, right? You'll get to do some undergraduate research with your faculty and you'll do a senior honors project at the end. Now, some of our students complete both of those programs, and that's called earning full university honors. And Abigail, who is with us tonight, is one of those students. So she can tell you a little bit more about those opportunities. So why should you do honors? Well, we have a lot of great benefits for first-year students who are looking to have kind of a smaller, more intimate experience as opposed to, as Dr. Littlejohn was kind of saying, UNCG is a large institution, and sometimes it might be hard to sort of find your people, right, and figure out what community it is that you want to start building right away within your first year. So honors is one of those spaces on campus, not the only one, but one of those spaces on campus where that can happen. So we offer small class sizes, max out at about 25, with classes that do meet those general education requirements, but are also taught uniquely for honors students. So you won't find my class, Ancient Warrior Woman, anywhere else on campus. I only teach that to honors students. So we really like to connect our students to faculty who are excited about what they're teaching, something that's kind of out of the ordinary for them and special for them as well. We do have 2 honors residences, North and South Spencer, that will help you get connected to our honors students right away. We have honors advisors whose offices are in those residence halls. And as an honors student, you also will get early registration. And I can't tell you what an amazing perk that is. So Abigail will have to fill you in because getting those classes early can really be a huge perk as you go through your time at UNCG. As international honors students, you also have a requirement, which is amazing, a requirement to study abroad. But as honors students, we do offer to you a travel grant to help defer some of those costs. And we do have some honors only scholarships that I'll talk about in just a moment. All right, Tatiana. Okay, what makes us a national pioneer in honors is our commitment to fostering student development through the principles of performance, play, and improvisation. So we really believe that everyone has something to teach or something to learn, and that our students co-create their learning environments with their professors. So to that end, we feature a variety of programs each year that help students to develop those new skills. So some of our programs are things like Monday Play, and this is a workshop where you will literally play improv games and get used to thinking on your feet, being a little bit more nimble, and being uncomfortable. I know we talk a lot about how great it is to be uncomfortable and to learn and grow in new ways, but it can be fun too. We also this year are starting a new initiative called Let's Learn, which is a free virtual education series that features sessions on everything from like how to do basic magic tricks to evaluating street art around the city. And that's open to anyone in our community. So we are trying to find ways to connect students to the Greensboro community as well. And that includes service learning experiences in our classes. So one of our really important community partners is the Center for New North Carolinians, a nonprofit connected to UNCG that helps refugees resettle in the Triad area. So we've had wonderful experiences with them. Now, I mentioned before that if you enter the International Honors Program, you are required to study abroad, and that is still the case. So I know that travel has been curtailed pretty significantly and for good reason right now, but we are always looking for ways for our students to get international experience. So in addition to kind of having that requirement, we have a couple of different ways for you to study abroad. You could go for a full year, just a semester, or for a summer. And we also have access to virtual internships, virtual connections to international students on our campus here at UNCG. So there are many ways for you to start to build those international skills and intercultural capacities. I do want to say though, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about where our students have studied abroad, we have a blog, the There Be Dragons blog. So you can go there and take a look at where our students have studied and how their experience kind of going for a semester or a summer has been. Okay. And of course, we offer lots of other opportunities as well. We cannot compete with Nobel laureates and amazing scientists and cave spelunking, but we do our best. So we have taken students to New York to visit the Metropolitan Museum of Art. We pretty regularly go to Washington, D.C. To visit the National Museum for African American History and Culture and visit the MLK Monument, so you can see some of those pictures there. But really what we try to instill in our students is the courage and the capacity to try all kinds of new things. So our students are involved in undergraduate research, presenting at conferences. We have a couple of different leadership development opportunities like the Honors Ambassadors and our peer mentors and our Artists in Residence program. Again, Abigail is an Honors Ambassador, so she can speak to that as well. So what we really value more than anything is getting our students engaged in our university and in our community overall. Now, I mentioned earlier that we do have honor-specific scholarships, and I am lucky enough to be the coordinator of our Scholars Program. So these are 4 scholarships, the Reynolds Class of 55, Sloan and Hayes scholarships that cover at least your tuition and fees for 4 years. Some of those scholarships also include stipends for defraying some of those costs to study abroad or doing an internship or community service project. We have a really lovely community of scholars. We have about 40 in our community right now. And we do have some perks like a little bit of special one-on-one mentoring and other community opportunities. So I want to emphasize that if you do apply to the Honors College, you are automatically considered for these scholarships. So there's no additional piece that you need to do. Although as Dr. Patton mentioned, you will have to fill out a FAFSA. So I think that's something you might want to take away from this anyway. Just plan on, submitting a FAFSA as you apply to UNCG. Okay. So to wrap up, if you are interested in applying to the Honors College, you will be invited to apply through Spartan Link if you meet one of 3 criteria. So if you have a 1270 combined SAT score or a 26 ACT or a 3.8 weighted high school GPA. So those, I want to emphasize, those are all ors. It's not and, it's not, the GPA and a score. So if you do not submit a test score, that is okay. All right, we will look at your GPA instead, and you'll receive that invitation to apply through Spartan Link. So in addition to that invitation, we'll ask you to submit an essay and a resume as part of your application for honors. And you can take a peek at those essay questions. They're on our website right now, honorscollege.uncg.edu. If you find our admissions page, you can figure out what those essay questions are. You have 4 choices. All right, so that's it from us, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions for our students. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Big shout out to the presenters for giving us all that great information. And we do have some questions from students who are texting. So keep those questions coming. And we're going to go ahead and start off with a question for Dr. Littlejohn. I got a question from a prospective student who is interested in multiple residential colleges.
Okay.
And the question is, can you be a part of multiple residential colleges?
Well, there's some natural overlap. So residential college, so yes and no. So that's the short answer, but the residential colleges are based literally in your residence, right? So each residence has its own program and its own set of students, but so you can't live in more than one place. So technically you can only join one residence college at a time. But I'm sure, as Asia can speak to, there's lots of cross-pollinating between the colleges, right? And events that they both share. We both do pizza and pumpkin events where we carve pumpkins and have contests and get to know each other across programs. And of course, the faculty, we share faculty, right? So and we have a Lemon faculty who is in the residence hall with his family who teaches there. And the same that we have a, sort of a, maybe about 6 or 7 regular faculty members who teach in the college, and we teach in all 3. So we have students from all 3 colleges in some of the classes too. So there's a lot of overlap. So you would pick one because you can only live in one place, but you'll have an experience that crosses over. Does that help? I hope.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for that information. That was great. This next question is for Professor Patton. So I've got a very ambitious prospective student texting, and they said that they are interested in double majoring. So do both majors have to be stamps related majors, or only one of them?
Only one. In fact, we have many students who double major or have a major and a minor in another field. So, but as long as one of them is in the STEM disciplines, that's fine.
Okay, great. And then Dr. Muich, is there a fee to be part of the Lloyd International Honors College?
Yeah, really great question. We do have a $30 annual fee, and all of that money goes towards our programming fund to help ensure that we can produce all of those programs that help with your own development and help you get connected to other honor students.
Great. And this one I might ask Asia. Asia, you might know this question. A student was asking, can you be a part of the residential college for all 4 years?
Yes, you can. I believe you can anyway. I'm actually a junior and I still live at Strong. And one reason I am able to do that is because I'm an upper class mentor, meaning I help the freshmen who come in and help them to get oriented into the new semester. So, and I believe that hopefully I can stay my senior year if I, I'd have to be an upper class mentor again to stay, because Strong is a freshman dorm. But yes, I believe you can stay all 4 years.
That happens a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So there you heard it from the student perspective and also from Dr. Littlejohn. This question I'm going to ask Abigail because it's actually it's in regards to the honors essay, and I know you are a scholarship recipient. So the question was, what are you looking for in the honors essay? So Dr. Muich, you might have to tag in, but Abigail, you might kind of give a little bit of insight maybe on what you wrote or kind of some tips for students who are looking to write the honors essay.
I think my biggest tip for prospective students, and something that I really struggled with, was trying to balance what I thought I should say and what I really wanted to say. And so I would recommend that you say what you want to say. So like, what makes you unique as a student? Because that's what the Honors College is all about. There's so many different people from different backgrounds, and they really honor diversity and new experiences. So what about you would be an awesome fit for the Honors College? Because if you're being invited to apply, and if you're watching this live stream, you're obviously a really qualified student. And so what makes you interesting and what can you bring to contribute? And I think that's really come from your heart, as cheesy as it sounds. Talk about what you love and you'll get in.
Awesome. Thank you, Abigail. Appreciate that. This is for Professor Patton. is it difficult to balance STAMPS program requirements with regular coursework?
I actually think, and this may be somewhat self-serving, that it's easier because with the support that we have, I think you actually, feel a little better about what you're doing. And so I don't find it's more difficult. We don't really have many additional requirements because everyone coming in does now the FYE course, and we just have a specific STAMPS course. Now, where it may become problematic for some students is if you want to take advantage of all of the trips and things like that, we really do want you to participate. So sometimes that becomes difficult, but most of the students report that those are things that they look forward to doing rather than see it as a burden. So.
Awesome, thank you for that. Okay, and it looks like we've gotten a couple questions regarding, or a couple of students asking this question, and this is for Dr. Muich. What does studying abroad look like right now or during COVID? What does it look like right now for the students in the Honors College?
Yeah, that's such a great question. Thanks for asking that, because it's hard to figure out how to bring that up sometimes when there's a lot of anxiety around travel right now. We are still very committed to getting students their international experience, whether that's something that happens locally here or something that happens abroad. So we work very closely with our International Program Center on campus, and that is the office that oversees all of the students and faculty who go abroad to study, and all of the international students and faculty who come to UNCG. So they work very closely with our partners in 30 different countries around the world, and with our faculty here who plan study abroad programs. So right now we are tentatively very optimistic about sending students abroad for spring, we're in the fall. So yeah, this coming spring semester, I will actually be co-directing a program in Rome for 4 weeks this summer. And then we're also excited about sending students abroad next fall. So as always, we are very, very careful as a university to coordinate with not only the UNC system guidelines, but also our national guidelines and our State Department guidelines for whether or not it's safe to send students abroad. And we want to make sure that we're honoring all of those restrictions and requirements and keeping everyone safe. So I think the best thing I can do is just reassure you that we have our ears to the ground, and we will not send you if it is not safe for you to go. And the communication is very clear throughout the process of where we are, what the restrictions might be, and what the concerns might be. And we're really careful to ensure that if for whatever reason you are accepted to go abroad, but it doesn't work out, we can find an alternative experience for you here locally.
Thank you, Dr. Muich. Okay, we've got a question in regards to residential colleges in Asia. This might be a question for you. Can you give us some examples of internship or community service opportunities that you have been involved with? And or Dr. Littlejohn, can you give us some additional opportunities or really unique ones that students have been involved with through the residential colleges?
I can honestly say, as far as community service, I know we have a lot. I haven't done really any community service here at Strong. So I guess I would let Dr. Littlejohn speak to that.
No problem. It's different for every student for sure. So a lot of our courses, our core courses, which are part of the requirement, include community engagement experiences. And those are things that the students do to participate in the university, and either at the campus level or the dorm level or at the city level. So they are encouraged to participate in events that are happening around them so they can learn about what's going on in their area and in their programs and in the school. So yeah, did you want to say something, Asia?
Yes. Okay, so I was kind of like, community service, actually thinking about something I've done in Strong. But yes, I did take a course with Miss Sky Dotson. She's a professor here at Ashby. She teaches in Ashby, but you may have her. You can be at Strong and have her as a professor. As the classes, we kind of just go back and forth with them sometimes. And I know for her, she basically taught on teaching and the types of teaching. And I went to a Montessori school, and I would go there and observe. And I also had to do a community event. The Folk Festival just happened this weekend, and I volunteered for Greensboro, and I had to use that in my paper. So yes, I would say we do have some community events that that go along with Strong and Ashby and Grogan.
Yeah. We also do have a lot of internship opportunities for students in terms of helping, not really external, outside of our community, but inside our community. We have a lot of undergraduates who are able to be student teaching interns with our professors. So those people that end up with a deep interest in a subject area, or have a lot of want to learn more about a particular type of course that we're offering, can be teaching TAs at the undergraduate level, the junior level, and work with professors to help students engage with material. So that's an opportunity that we like to have, that actually is, I think, fairly unique.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. And this is another question in regards to the Lloyd International Honors College. Student said, do I have to live in the Lloyd International Honors College housing, or can I choose another housing option?
So I'm happy to answer that, but I'm going to encourage Abigail to follow up and explain why you might want to live in honors housing. So no, you do not, it's not a requirement that you live in any of our residences. So like I said, we have North and South Spencer, one of the oldest residence halls on campus. And then we also have Gray Hall on the quad. So we have students who commute, totally fine. We have some residential college students who are also in the honors college. So we love that they're part of both communities. Sometimes you might have a roommate who wants to live somewhere else on campus, but you might still want to be part of an honors college. That's great. So we don't really make too many specific prescriptions about it, but our suggestion is, if you are planning on living on campus, we really, really want you to live with us. But we're a lot of fun. So Abigail, please explain to them why they might want to consider this.
Yeah, I think living in the honors housings in North and South Spencer your first year is a really good opportunity, because like Dr. Muich said, the building is really beautiful. It was the longest residential building on any campus for a long time. And I don't know who beat us out, but someone did. You really get that community that you would get in a residential college. So there's advisors who live or who work in the place where you're living. And so you can always stop by and check in and, just have a conversation with them. And they become really good advocates for you. And if you're interested in living in another place because you think you can't have a roommate who's not in the honors college, that's not necessarily true. So if you, for instance, are interested in the honors college, you can always pull in a non-honors student for some of the housing. So I would highly encourage it. There's some of the prettiest rooms on campus, especially if you tour the high rises, which is the alternative usually for freshman students.
Not to mention it's conveniently located very closely to the dining hall. So that's also a big perk. All right, Professor Patton, we had a student who kind of tuned in a little bit late. Can you talk about the minimum requirements to be part of the STAMPS program?
They're fairly amorphous, I will say that. The requirement, first of all, is that you have chosen to be in one of the 6 majors, which is, again, biology, chemistry, computer science, geography, environment and sustainability, mathematics, and physics and astronomy. We normally are looking for students who have somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,100 on the SAT, or 3.7, 3.8 adjusted high school graduate, their transcript, their GPA and their transcript. But sometimes it's, when we talk to students, they're just really, really interested in it. And, we can bend the rules a little bit. The one rule we can't bend is that they do have financial need. And I think there's a vast majority of incoming students to UNCG have financial need. So it's not an unusual thing. And so If you're interested in the program at all, there is a web page. You can go look at the STAMPS web page to see what we do, or you can talk to one of us. You might talk either to myself, or if you look at the web page, you might see someone in the major that you're interested in, and you can talk with them. So,
awesome. Thank you, Professor Patton.
Sure.
This next question actually applies to all of your areas, hoping you all can answer it. Maybe we can go Dr. Muich, Dr. Littlejohn, and Professor Patton at the very end. Could you be a part of any of these programs, first as an online student, and second as a transfer student?
Yeah, thanks, Tatiana. That's a great question, and I think it's one that we're all continuing to think about how our programs can grow to accommodate, different learning modalities. For the Honors College right now, you cannot, sadly. So we are unable to offer only online courses, enough that would allow a student to meet all of the requirements for the Honors College solely online. So that's one thing that we won't be able to do in the near future. There might be some wiggle room for opportunities within the disciplinary honors track, but for the international honors track, where the program you would be joining as a first-year student, unfortunately, no, most of the classes will need to be in person. Thank you for asking this, though. I'm happy, and I'm interested to hear what other folks have to say.
So, well, we are by title a residential program. So we want you to live in the building for the experiences that we were all describing, right? All of that community building that creates internal and supportive environments that help people succeed in school. That happens because of shared experiences, and that's much, much harder to do, as we now know, online than it is to do in person. That said, we've had, we all did what we had to do, right? So we were an online program for the first time ever last year. And we had to meet lots of different kinds of situations, and we did that. It is harder on students, I think, and I think probably students would universally agree, even though we all love the flexibility. I love even coming to this event, and I'm sitting here in my house listening to my dogs make noise and hoping they're not too loud, that kind of thing. So there's been some real benefits, as we all know, but residential programs are really by definition in person. So was there a second half to that question? I think we only got one.
Transfer student, if I was
yes, right. Transfer students are welcome. We are a first and second year program and our courses fulfill mostly gen ed requirements, which are often covered in a lot of students' coursework in high school. That is to say, if they come in with a lot of AP credit or IB credit, you may find yourself not having to take as many gen ed courses. And so you may find that that's not necessarily something that you want to do. You want to be a part of residential college because you already have that done, so to speak. That said, we have tons of transfer students who like to come in and be part of the community. So it's really kind of about, again, fit in that regard.
If I can just jump back in really fast, I'm sorry, Dr. Patton, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Honors College also has a transfer-friendly program in disciplinary honors in particular, but also to the kind of the very same point that Dr. Littlejohn is making. If you're looking for that smaller class size experience, even if you've already taken some general education courses, we also welcome transfers to the International Honors Program as well.
Okay. Well, the STAMPS program may be a little unique on campus in that our current grant from the National Science Foundation, we've set aside half of all the scholarships for transfer students specifically. And we're particularly interested in transfer students from the community college system. So we have, so if you are in that category, I will say that your chances of receiving it are fairly high. As for doing it all online, well, we're like the other programs. So many of our activities are designed to build a sense of community. So we do have a class that you all must take, and that's not online, and then a lot of field trips, things like that. But I will say that once you get past your freshman year, it may be possible to become much more of an online student and still participate in some of the STAMPS activities on campus. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of situation, but particularly I could say, if you're a transfer student, there's a pretty good chance of being funded.
Awesome. Thank you all for those answers. And I'm going to end it with our current students that we have here. If you have maybe one piece of advice for prospective students seeking these, opportunities, these high achieving opportunities, what would you say to these students? What piece of advice would you give them? And I'll go ahead and start with Asia.
Okay, and just to be clear, basically the question is, what advice would we give them if they're seeking these types of opportunities?
Yep,
Okay.
any opportunities, yeah, maybe something like the residential college or, anything that they could get involved in here at UNCG.
Okay, yes, I would definitely say to join. I know Abigail will speak towards the Lloyd Honors College, and I'll definitely speak to Strong. It is really like a family here, and I'm not just saying that because it's a co-ed dorm, but I live with the people who I go to class with, and it's really funny because you see them in class, and sometimes we also have classrooms inside our dorms. So, sometimes some people do come in pajamas. We don't encourage that because, your professor is still there. So don't try not to do that. But, you can because it's right downstairs. And like Professor Littlejohn was saying, you have your professor right there with you. It's more personal. Miss Barton, she's our advisor. She's right inside. So if you are coming from like a small town or anything like that, and you kind of are used to that smallness, I definitely recommend coming to a residential college because it's kind of closed in and you have that family there and you gain that community really quickly. We have a lot of activities set up to where you can meet people really easily. So if you're looking for any of these opportunities, please try to go ahead and join.
And I think to kind of go off of that, my biggest piece of advice for anyone would be just apply. The worst that can happen is you get told no. But a lot of times I think we discredit ourselves and we think we're not as qualified as we actually are. And so there's been so many opportunities here that I would have never gotten to have if I wouldn't have spoke up or I wouldn't have just had enough courage to just apply for that opportunity. So just for an example, I am a nursing student, and so I always felt stuck in nursing, but I love history and I love the archives. And so in one of my honors courses, I got to meet the university archivist, Aaron Larmore, and we worked together on a project about, the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. And so I got research experience my sophomore year, and that set me up to do a really big senior honors project as part of disciplinary honors. And so something that I thought would just be for fun and wouldn't go anywhere really set me up for success and to get scholarships and internships to kind of go along with nursing research. So just apply. The worst you get told is no, but at least you know that you didn't, miss an opportunity that you could have had.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for those answers, especially coming from you all current students who are, living the lives and are, involved in so much at UNCG. So that is all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to keep texting us and we'll be able to answer those questions. But other than that, thank you all so much for tuning in and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.